Welcome to Behind the Audition podcast with your host, Curt Hilton. Listen in on interviews with voiceovers, filmmakers, producers, animators, and much more. Curt, a voice actor himself, will give insider tips to the business, talk with guests about how they got into the business, and be sure to stay tuned to the end of the podcast when he challenges his guests with a pop-up audition. Now it's time for Behind the Audition podcast. Here's Curt Hilton.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Audition podcast. On this episode, I got to speak to the amazing voice actor, Emma Oneill. We talked about how she started as a voice actor, how you don't need to go broke to get into the business. We discussed my crazy AI email I received, building relationships to build your business, and we also talked about her love for yoga. So sit back and enjoy this next episode of Behind the Audition podcast.
And it is season 3, and I am excited to be back. And I bring back the best when I come back. And today's guest, you're going to be so excited. I've already got messages for those who saw my post last night that are excited to have this guest on. You have heard their voice on Netflix, MGM Resorts, Mercedes-Benz, and so much more. And you've even joined their clubhouse, like I have. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Emma Oneill. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am super excited. I'm back. I felt a little rusty getting my podcast stuff setting up today, but you know what? Once you start talking to VO friends like yourself, you just get excited and you feel like you're back. And you know we're back in the loop. But I'm calling you. I'm actually calling. I'm talking to you from Toronto. You know, I said Toronto.
I'm in Toronto. Yeah, we run through it. Toronto.
No emphasis. No emphasis on the T at all, right?
No. You know where people are from, like in Canada, you know where they're from based on how they say Toronto.
Absolutely. And, you know, I've had Todd Fennell and Tanisha Collins. They're both up there in Canada as well. Would you say, so Canadians get the accent, the people's, hey, or a, or, a boot and all that stuff. Would you say, though, Wisconsin and Chicago individuals have more of an accent than Canadians?
It's just different. I don't have a Canadian accent because I made sure I didn't have one. But I moved from Ireland when I was a kid, so we're immigrants. And we lived with our great uncle and his son, so my cousin. And he said A all the time. And within the first 2 weeks, my mother would respond with B.
Wow.
So
That's
drove us mad. So we never said A. And then, with studying acting and studying phonetics and linguistics, I learned to kind of speak openly. So
Wow.
I don't say oot in a boot. Like I don't have Canadianisms.
Yeah.
Most people can't figure out where I'm from.
That is hilarious. My wife, she grew up in Iowa and she lived in Minnesota. And she has a tiny, but she has a great accent. It's not like strong, but you can hear it sometimes. And I when we first started dating, I'm like, are you from Canada?
Minnesota and Canada, yeah, there's a lot of similarities in the placement of the vowels specifically. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So I want to go back to when you got into this industry. You have had you've had a great, I guess, career in this industry, and you do other things we'll talk about a little bit. How did you get started into the voiceover?
I've been an actor my whole life. I was placed on stage in diapers, and I
Nice.
never left. And then I went to an acting academy. I went to York University, which is an academy program in Canada, and the love of acting was beaten out of me, so I left and I didn't come back to acting for 10 years. And when I did, it was because someone handed me a microphone. They're like, you need to be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I signed up for a course and took a course with Mike Kirby, Voice Tracks in Toronto, and immediately fell in love with this crazy world that and it was also because it's like I could work in my yoga clothes. Like I didn't have to get dressed up to do it. I was like, oh, this is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because it's such a different form of acting from screen or stage. You have to be able to perform in different ways. It really intrigued me. It was like, oh, I've done this my whole life, but this is totally different. I have to learn a whole new way of acting. And that's kind of how I did a bunch of courses, I did a bunch of classes, and my first demo was a train wreck, and as they usually are, and I wasn't ready to do one, but I did it because you get excited and someone tells you that you should do a demo, so you do, and yeah, and then I landed my first agent probably about 3 years into kind of knocking on doors and saying, hey, please sign me. Hey, please sign me. Hey, please sign me. And I think I booked my first job with my first agent within the first week that I was on the roster. And I
Wow.
think after about 3 months, the main agent emailed me and he was like, I don't think we've ever had someone um, do this well this quickly on our
Wow.
roster. So
Very impressive. So, I have, I'll have individuals reach out, wanting to get into this industry, and I know there's a lot of emphasis on auditioning, and a lot of emphasis on having the great demo. But wouldn't you say it's don't put too much emphasis on the demo because when you audition, if you don't sound like your demo, that's kind of going to throw off the producers and off the agents. Would you agree with that?
absolutely. You need to be, if you have a demo, hopefully it's because you are ready to do a demo. You don't produce the demo yourself, you work with a professional, and you're able to recreate what is on that demo. You're able to recreate the sound because you've recorded it in your own studio. Your studio doesn't have to be fancy, it just has to sound good. Like my first studio was literally a blue Walmart storage box with mattress foam shoved into it, and I went into my bathroom because I lived in a studio apartment on top of a highway. So
Wow.
like, you learn how to process sound. So that's more important than anything. Like coaching, understanding. You can audition until the cows come home. If you don't know how to audition, you are wasting time. You're throwing
Absolutely.
spaghetti against a wall and seeing what's going to stick. Like,
That is great advice. My current coach that I work with, we have this conversation because they'll have auditions go to her, and then they'll have some want to improve their demo. They you can tell they tweak their demo so much, and they put so much money because they'll get with somebody who charges $1 billion to put a demo together, and of course it's like you don't need to spend that much, but when they go to the audition, it's like, wait a minute, you sound nothing like this demo
yeah.
that you created. You got to still act, the performance, the acting, and everything. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, it's a good demo, but you sound nothing like your audition. So that's one thing you got to work on. And so when you got your first agent, for my listeners, tell them what it was like. Did you get the excitement of, oh my gosh, I got an agent, I'm going to make it big, or did you still focus on your brand? I should say your brand, but your voice and your business as a voice actor? What did you focus most on?
I am a total nerd. So I am always coaching. Like I've been full time in this business for almost a decade. And as I said, I've been an actor my entire life. I coach all the time. Like I'm missing a class today because I have a doctor's appointment. But I coach literally, like I coach every week with a workout group with Dave Walsh. I have private coaching for promo and commercial. It is so important to continue to coach. So yeah, getting an agent was really, really exciting, but getting an agent isn't the be all end all. You have to do the work. It's about you. It's not signing with an agency and expecting them to, okay, so now I'm with an agent. So now what are you going to do for me? It's that you're working together as a team. And, sometimes I bring clients to my agent. Like if I get a freelance client that comes to me with a request that's kind of out of my scope, if I don't have a friend to reach out to, which I generally do, but if I feel like this is a little bit too big, I feel like I need to bring an agent into this because they're there for a reason. They know what they're doing with contracts. I will bring them the client and say, hey, can you please now take this over and do the business aspect of things? It's
Wow.
so important to build your brand. It's so important to understand the business because this is a business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Because there's days, there's weeks where I'll be like swamped, and then there's weeks where you just like, what happened? And you get you,
Crickets.
you get you get paranoid. You're like, oh my gosh, is this it? Is this
My
it?
career's over.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
And
God.
so, but I see fellow voice actors out there, making sure they keep their agents hold their agents accountable for it's not just they're getting the jobs for us, we're doing it too. But at the same time, having that relationship with your agent where together as a team, you both help out. Some people will think just because you have an agent, you're just going to come flying in. It's like, it's not that at all. You have to both do the work. And what have you done for me? Well, what have you done for me too? Kind of have that relationship, and what would you say? So if, how long would you give an agent who hasn't brought you anything? Do you give them a timeline? Because there's some people ask, how long do you give, this current agent? They haven't got any business in a year. Would you wait more than a year, or how would you respond with that?
I'd reach out to the agent and ask them what was going on. Like if I, have I not been, I tend to, being Irish, live in the land of guilt and shame. Um, so I always assume that it's my fault, Which is actually really helpful in a lot of circumstances because I'm not blaming other people for my failings. I'm looking like, where can I improve? Where can I make things better? So if I'm not getting auditions from an agency, if I'm getting auditions but I'm not booking with the agency, I will reach out to the agent and be like, hey, can we have a 5-minute coffee conversation, or if they prefer email exchange, like these are the questions that I have. I'm not sure what's going on. Is there something that I could do to improve my chances of booking? Is there a coach that you think that would, because I think I'm doing okay. I'm doing well with other agents. Why am I not with you? Agents are people and they are working with you and they're usually quite willing to help. I mean, they're busy, super busy. It's not just you on the roster. There's a lot of people on the roster, but they're usually, I find that agents in general are more than willing to sit down with you to have a conversation about your career, because the better you do, the better they do.
Absolutely. I think that's great feedback. And to talk about next is you're a One Voice Winner Award 2022. Congratulations on that. That's awesome. So I see a lot of videos of when they get these awards, they open the mail and they open the box. It's like unboxing something. How exciting is that?
It's very exciting. It is a big thrill. I mean, some people hate awards, some people love awards. I think that they're wonderful. I think that it's really nice to this particular section of the entertainment industry is so wonderful because we celebrate each other. We celebrate each other's wins every day of the week. And then these particular events, One Voice, Sovas, Voice Arts Awards, it's such a joy because it's like everyone gets to dress up and get together and have fun. And if you're not there, like if you don't, because you generally don't get the actual statue while you're there, you get it gets mailed to you, and then you get to and you don't know when it's coming. So it is kind of like Christmas all of a sudden on the day that it arrives. It's like, eek, it's here, yay!
Well, it's like VO Atlanta. You're going to VO Atlanta, correct?
Yeah.
So I have not made that step yet. I just conferences, my daily life, being a father, husband, all that, I'm just constantly always doing something around here. Tell those who've never been to one, what's that experience like going to VO Atlanta?
I am an introvert, contrary to popular belief. So I'm good one-on-one. I'm not great in groups. So the first conference I went to was VO Atlanta, and it scared the absolute crap out of me to go, but I was encouraged to go by my demo producer and a few friends. To challenge myself, to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm so glad that I did. It was a huge, huge boost to my career. It was a boost to my confidence. It was a boost to my brand. And I met and connected with so many people. Like I made really good friendships. Like that was kind of the beginning of a lot of really good friendships that I have now. But I connected with so many people in the industry that I wouldn't necessarily have connected with, because networking and marketing is all about relationship. It's not about me, I, here's my demo, here's my business card. That's the death to your business.
Right.
But if you walk up to someone like, oh my God, Hilton Productions, I've watched your stuff. This is so cool. It's about them. And you can do that when you meet people in person.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I was talking with a fellow voiceover not too long ago. We're talking about marketing and reaching out to production houses and reaching out to our clients. And we talked about things. I said, when you talk to them, do you talk more about you or do you talk about them? And I said, I talk more about them. And I get excited about them because who else doesn't want to talk about how cool their brand is and how cool their product is? I think the misconception is, and I asked them, I said, what's more annoying to you? Because I wanted to get the feedback. I go, as somebody who wants to do business with you, what annoys you the most? I asked those questions because I don't want to do that. Right.
Yeah.
And he said, emails. And this is recent. He said, emails. The production houses get so many emails a day, and they go like this. Hi, my name's Curt. I'm a voice actor. Let me do your projects. That's how vague they are. There's no, hey, let me know a little about you. Here's what I do. Here's what I can do to help you. Here's what I offer. Here's my studio, blah, blah, blah. It's just, hey, I'm a voice actor. I'd love to be on your roster. And my mind was blown. And so I think voice actors should get out there and talk to their clients and, what annoys them? What are they looking for? Not just sending emails. I think that's what we're at that point now where there's a lot more voice actors than there used to be.
Yeah.
And they're just assuming, like TikTok, you just get on there and you're going to become famous. Wouldn't you think so? Or don't you think that as well?
Oh, if only TikTok was that easy, but yeah, it is. I mean, the number of times LinkedIn, for example. LinkedIn is an incredible, incredible platform for business. And it's a really great platform for voiceover because there's so many of us on the platform.
Mhm.
Um, but every day I'll get connection requests, and sometimes they have a message attached to them. And usually the message is, boom, here's my website, my demos, and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, first of all, I'm a voice talent. I'm not a voice caster, so I don't know why
Yeah.
you're sending me your stuff. So
Right.
you
Right.
like actually look at my profile
Right.
before you send me stuff.
Right.
Or it's, I want to join your professional network. So
They're using the template.
that doesn't make me want to connect with you. So
Right.
you don't know who I am. You have no idea what I do. You haven't
Right.
actually taken 2 seconds to look at my profile, never mind any of the links connected to my profile.
Mhm.
But you want me to connect with you so that you could possibly then connect with my connections.
Absolutely. I love it. I love
No.
it.
How about
Oh,
no?
oh
You
my
take
gosh,
a
that's awesome.
second to actually be like, hey, Emma, I watched your blah, 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 or I heard da, da, da. Even if, like, my life is so public because it's our lives are on social media. Like I was on Clubhouse last night with Mark Gus, and he was laughing because he's like, I know you've got a new piece of back art. I know you've moved your studio from downstairs to upstairs. I know you've done this thing because I think that it's really important to be open in certain parts of your life and share with people. People want to know. That's how you connect with
Absolutely.
people. But when it's just shoving a business card down someone's throat, it's not received well.
I love it. I love it. And speaking of Clubhouse, you have a great Clubhouse platform. I created one, but I find myself just, you know what? I'm going to go these other ones because these are some great. I think they give some great tips. Yours was great, and we actually laughed. I think I laughed about this. The word adjective. I couldn't think of that word. You and I were on the phone talking. I couldn't think of that word to save my life. But you had Ryder on, and I've had him on the show, and he's another great resource if you're looking for a coach.
So great.
And you guys talked about word adjective, and I recently talked to a fellow VO about this also. Emphasizing the adjectives in the script can really help you. Like beautiful, that was a beautiful salad I had, and emphasize. And you had people read the scripts, and I was like, wow, this is a great Clubhouse. I'm going to try to get more of these. Talk about what made you want to create that Clubhouse, and how you wanted to give back to other fellow VOs.
The Voiceover Roundtable is the clubhouse that Mike Tobin and I run, and it was actually originally created by Dervla Trainer, who is the creator of VO North, the conference here in Canada. And it was basically created during the pandemic for, something to do. And at that point, it literally was a roundtable. There was a bunch of us that were regularly on it that would share advice and we would answer audience questions. And then it kind of just petered out as a lot of things did that had been created during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And at VO North this past year, separately, both Mike and I were approached by people asking, are you ever going to bring the VO Roundtable back? Because we were regular guests on the show. And so Mike and I had gone for dinner during the conference, and I was like, hey, what do you think about bringing the VO Roundtable back? And he's like, oh my God, people were talking about you. So that's kind of how it was brought back. And then we started to look at different ways of doing it. So instead of it just being a round table of other people coming to talk about things, I was like, but what if we ask industry professionals? Like, what if we ask people who we admire, who are, senior to us in the industry, to come and offer their expertise and their knowledge? And because of my social media prowess is such a crazy word. Because because I post on social media a lot, I have a lot of connections, and I coach with a lot of people. And because I coach with a lot of people, and because I'm an introvert, and when I connect with someone, I actually connect with them as a person, it works to my benefit. So I'm the one that gets the guests for the show.
That's awesome. That's great. It's great.
So I reach out to people and I'm like, hey, would you like to do this thing? And shockingly enough, they all keep saying yes. And I keep getting amazing people. Like we had Mark Gus last night. We had Ryder on the show. We had Bren Allen Hagel. We had Mary Lynn Wisner. Like next week, we've got Ellie Ray, who is one of my first coaches, she's an incredible unicorn, and I love her. And it's all about giving back. And it's such a pleasure to be able to do that, because we've all walked into this business having no idea what we're doing,
right,
and where to go, and what to, and there's so many snake oil salesmen, like there are in all industries. So it's trying to present the people who are legit to the audience. Like, you're looking for a coach, here's someone who is actually a really, really good coach, who is not going to shove a demo down your throat. You want a demo? Here's a really good demo producer who also is not going to shove a demo down your throat if you're not ready to do one.
Right. And with Clubhouse too, I was kind of at first I was like, this is the corniest thing I've ever, not your show, but when I first got on there, when it first came out, you're basically, I guess maybe it was some of the shows that I would get on. They just like to hear themselves talk. They'd ask a question, and answer them for themselves. I was like, oh my gosh! But you guys have a good platform where some of the guests would read the scripts, and when Ryder was giving great feedback, and
Yeah.
you give great feedback, it was like they actually got some good value. And that's the thing, you're learning yourself. I'm learning myself having you on, and not being selfish, but at the end of the day, it's about us, right? We got to strengthen our brains in this world, because this is a crazy world, and you got to have thick skin, and you got to do this, you got to do that, and you got to keep yourself fresh, because I'm going to say the word AI is here now, and there's been posts on LinkedIn. I recently got one that I was going to go over with you. I just got an email, which is crazy, and I don't know if you've gotten this yet, but AI companies are reaching out now. Want you to hire voice actors to be on their roster, and you get residuals with AI. Didn't make any sense. I just replied back, what's this website you're talking about? They said, hi, Curt. We noticed your voice was on blah, blah, blah.ai. We would like to add you to our
this. I haven't gotten it. No, but
I just got it yesterday. It freaked me out. One of our fellow VOs put on his LinkedIn yesterday, and I just got it here, and it's talking about let me tell you more about it. And it says, we are not a casting agent, and this is a subscription platform, and we can add you to our roster, and therefore you get paid. Freaked me out. And I said, well, where is my voice supposedly? Where's my voice? I don't know, did I do a project many years ago that I don't know about? You do commercial VO. They can go on and ask AI, give me that voice. Where do you think we are? I know we talked about this years ago. Don't worry about AI. It's not natural enough. You're not really expressing your voice. Are you concerned with this getting more, I guess you'd say tech savvy in the world of VO? Are you worried about AI now?
I don't know if I'd say I'm worried. I would definitely say I'm concerned. Solely because, not because I think that AI is going to take over. I do think that AI is going to take over particular sections of this industry for sure. I think it's going to take over e-learning.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
I think it's going to take over explainers. I think it's going to take over the kind of the lower budget broadcast and non-broadcast stuff.
Like YouTube videos and stuff like that. You hear all those. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think that it will. It might even bleed into VR games, things like that. And possibly video game, which would be really sad, because video game, when you're a video game actor, like, it's one of the closest things to like acting.
Right.
As a video game, like, you really have to flesh out a character, but I can see it possibly going that way. What concerns me more is because it's like the Wild West, like, it's not regulated at all. So every day you're hearing about someone's voice being used for AI, and they didn't give permission for their voice to be used, nor were they compensated for their voice to be used. So that's the part of the AI world that really concerns me, is that it's right now people are just they're stealing people's voices, literally stealing people's voices.
Yeah.
So, and there's only particular like, I'm in Canada, so I'd actually have to look up the law of, do I own my voice?
Right.
Particular states where you don't. In New York, you do. In like in California, you do. It's part of the statute, of who you are as a person. You own your voice, but in certain states you don't.
Yeah,
So
that makes
very,
sense.
very Wild West. Yeah, that's the part that concerns me the most.
Well, that's good to know. And yeah, I want to talk about something now. Is mental health awareness is very important to me. Like I said, I took a mental break for a good 4 weeks. I just needed it. Sometimes I get off social media for a while because I get tired of the same thing. Oh my gosh! But you got to do it. But I took a break, so I'm gonna take a break from social media. You do yoga and health, and you also, oh my gosh, I totally went blank there. You're a wellness enthusiast, and I think that is awesome. I've done the yoga, Tai Chi, and something else one time. Remember Gold's Gym back in the day? They used to have those classes.
I used to teach for Gold's. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And so me and a friend went one time, and I'm like, man, Tai Chi, yoga, I got this. I couldn't feel my legs after I left that. How important is, that's great you do this. How important is that to you besides doing voiceover?
Oh, it's what keeps me breathing. It's what keeps me sane-ish. I wouldn't claim to be sane. I don't think you can be an actor and be sane. But yoga is what keeps me in my body, and it keeps me calmer. I need to physically move my body. We all do. But specifically with yoga, because you're taking a moment to be quiet And I mean, I practice Ashtanga yoga and I practice it traditionally. I use that word loosely in the sense that I don't play music. I don't do like I get onto my mat, I shut up and I breathe and I move.
Wow.
And it connects me with my breath, which connects me to my body, which allows my brain, all of the spinny stuff, to slow down. So it's hugely important. If I didn't have yoga, I don't think I would do very well mentally.
I think I see your videos. I love how you include like your yoga sayings and yoga this and yoga. I think that's great. I meditate when I can. I'm trying to get back into it more. I think it makes me feel better. I almost fall asleep sometimes. When I first I did the meditation, I was like, this is not working. But turn the music off is important. You have to have listen to your breathing and get in touch with yourself. And I think that's fascinating that you do that. And I saw them like, oh my gosh, that's something I really want to know about. So congratulations to you to taking that extra time to center with yourself.
It gets to a point. It's one of those things. It's like I talk to people a lot about health and fitness, and they're always like, I don't have time. It's that you make the time. And it becomes part of your day, like brushing your teeth. That you get up, you get out of bed, and you brush your teeth. You don't think about it. It's not I have to make time to brush my teeth. You just do it because it's part of your day and it's important. And for me, it's the same thing. Going for my daily walk, doing yoga, working out, lifting weights. It's not about carving time out of my day. It's just, it is part of my day, period.
Schedule it in your calendar. Make it happen.
That is what is happening.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, now we're going to have some extra fun here. It's time for the audition challenge. And I wrote something fun for you. I think you're going to be fantastic at this. And it's something, I think I'm going to start doing some
last words.
I'm going to start doing like some improv with I could have done like, coming soon. And you could have done like the acting because you have that. You have that good. Yeah, you have that good improv. But I wrote you a script. It's in your chat there. And so whenever you're ready, go and have some fun and read it like you would.
Read it like I would. Have I mentioned that I am crap at cold reads? Okay. Here we go.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I'm like sweating. Okay. Seriously, I'm telling you. Coming to the Oneill Network. Emma's hardworking yoga instructor during the day, and at night, she works for the CIA. This summer, don't miss Agent Namaste, only on the Oneill Network.
Do you like that or what? When I saw that you're into yoga and I just like I got to do this. I got to do this because we don't have a fun show like that. Like she's just a hard CIA agent that's like yoga and gets out there and just beats everybody up. I think that'd be awesome. Before I let you go, I always do this. With so many voice actors coming into the world, I always like to get tips to them because sometimes I think they do misunderstand this industry. What are some tips and tricks to those getting into this industry that they really need to understand and steps they need before actually doing this?
One, it's not about the sound of your voice. So if someone has told you you have a great sounding voice, you should be a voice actor, that does not make you a voice actor. Being able to do character voices or mimicking does not make you a voice actor. That makes you a mimic. And it's a skill, absolutely, but it's not going to make you a voice actor. I would say the things to do before delving into don't spend a crap ton of money. You don't need to buy a Studio Bricks and a Neumann and blah, 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 blah. As I said, I started with a storage box with mattress foam shoved into it with a USB mic, and I booked national commercials on that thing. And I booked national commercials on that thing because I coach. Improv is your friend. Community theater classes are your friend. Acting classes in general. This is acting. I think that people miss it. It's voice acting, but people just hear the voice part. They don't hear the acting part, which I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a business. So you can be a hobbyist and do voice acting, or you can be a business. And to be a hobbyist, do what you like. Have a great time. But it's also with auditioning, like I said at the beginning, you can audition until the cows come home. If you don't understand how to audition, you're just going to get frustrated. So coach, find workout groups, There's loads of workout groups online that are free or really, really low cost, like $20-25 a class. And you're given scripts, or you can bring a script that you found and you're working with people of, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and everyone's going to help you and give you feedback. So constantly put yourself into uncomfortable situations where you can learn and understand and know that this community, the voiceover community, is incredibly supportive, and we all want everyone to succeed. So, reach out, ask questions, and do your research as well. Like do it for yourself. Like I said at the beginning, it's not about I've signed with you, or now we're doing this thing, so you have to do the work for me. It's the work is yours. You have to do the work. So do your research, and if you get stuck, that's when you reach out and you ask people.
I love it. I love it. You said community theater. I think that's awesome. I always think like something popped in my head. Along Came Polly, the Jesus Christ Superstar, the musical. That's a great idea, because I never thought about that. The community colleges, community theater. Go meet some friends. Because a lot of people, want to meet new friends and get out there and get, we're open again, so get back out there.
Yeah.
That's some great advice. So where can we find you on social media? Where how can we follow you on Clubhouse? Let us know how we could do that.
On Clubhouse, you can follow me. It's just Emma Oneill with 2 L's, O''Nei, 2 L's. On Instagram, it's the same, Emma Oneill. If you just look up Emma Oneill VO in general, you find me. On Clubhouse, the room that Mike and I host is called the Voiceover Roundtable. It's on Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. EST, 4:30 p.m. PST. And it's super duper fun, and we love audience engagement. We love bringing people up on stage all the time. So it's a fun night. That's really, really informative. And as I said, we have Ellie Ray next week. And if you don't know Ellie Ray, oh my God, you're in for a treat. She is a magical mystery unicorn. She's amazing.
I will be sure to set it's kind of funny. This thing I still got the A+. It's embarrassing, but you know what? I'm so frugal and all that stuff. And I've learned, my wife goes, it's called a smartphone. So we think it's just social media and stuff. So I've started setting reminders. I started setting stuff to my calendars. So definitely that will be one thing I'll set in my calendar. I can't thank you enough for coming on. I'm you're the first guest for season 3. Thank you for giving back. Thank you for just being authentic. I think you're an authentic person. Your attitude is very infectious. And it's, thank you for coming on Behind the Audition podcast.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed my time, and I'm really, really grateful that you asked me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For more information about Emma Oneill, go to emmaoneillvo.com.
Thanks for listening in on Behind the Audition podcast, made possible by Hilton Productions. If you need a male or female voiceover, contact us at hiltonproductions.com. Hilton Productions, let our voices do the selling.